Jean-Claude Van Damme's career ended immediately after this happened. He was once one of the biggest names in Hollywood. A global martial arts icon who went from sleeping on the streets to becoming one of the highest-paid action stars of the 1990s. His kicks were fast, his charisma was undeniable, and his movies ruled the box office. But behind the fame and the flying splits, Jean-Claude Van Damme was battling something darker, something that would ultimately destroy everything he had built. This is the untold story of how the muscles from Brussels rose to superstardom, and how one fateful series of decisions ended his career almost overnight. Jean-Claude Camille François van Varenberg was born on October 18, 1960, in Berchem Saint-Agatha, Brussels, Belgium. His father, Eugene, was a florist who enrolled his shy, fragile son in karate lessons when he was 10 to build his confidence. The boy who once hid behind glasses quickly transformed into a disciplined fighter. By 18, Jean-Claude was a national karate champion and later earned a spot on the Belgian karate team. But while martial arts gave him strength, he wanted something more, the silver screen. He idolized Bruce Lee, dreaming of one day bringing his own spin to martial arts cinema. In 1982, with only $200 in his pocket and a head full of dreams, Jean-Claude left Belgium for Hollywood. But fame didn't come easy. He barely spoke English, worked as a limo driver, waiter, and carpet cleaner, and slept in cars or alleys. He'd hand out his photo to producers, waiting for a chance that never seemed to come. Then, one day in 1984, fate struck. While working as a waiter, he met Chuck Norris, who gave him small stunt work in Missing in Action. It wasn't much, but it gave him a foot in the door. His real break came when he literally kicked his way into Hollywood, showing off his flexibility and speed to producer Menahem Golan, earning him the lead role in Bloodsport, 1988. The movie was low budget, based on the alleged true story of martial artist Frank Dukes, but it became a massive surprise hit, grossing over $50 million worldwide. Overnight, Jean-Claude Van Damme became a household name. The world had never seen someone like him. The perfect blend of athleticism, looks, and charisma. Films like Kickboxer, Cyborg, Lionheart, Double Impact, and Universal Soldier turned him into one of the biggest action heroes of the early 90s. At his peak, he was earning $8-10 million per film. He bought mansions, sports cars, and lived a life most could only dream of. But behind the confident grin and roundhouse kicks, Van Damme was struggling with something no one could see, himself. Fame came too fast, and with it came temptation. He began using cocaine heavily, spending up to $10,000 a week on his habit. The once disciplined karate champion had become a prisoner of addiction. He later admitted that he was using cocaine daily while filming Street Fighter in 1994. His erratic behavior on set, disappearing for hours, showing up late, and fighting with director Steven de Souza, led the studio to lose faith in him. Despite being paid $8 million for the role, the movie marked the beginning of his downfall. As the cocaine took over, his personal life began to crumble. He was married 5 times, often divorcing and remarrying the same woman, bodybuilder Gladys Portuguese. Affairs with co-stars like Kylie Minogue made tabloid headlines, further damaging his image. By 1995, he was physically exhausted, mentally unstable, and addicted. He would later say, "I lost everything, my family, my career, my soul." Hollywood began to notice. Directors complained he was impossible to work with, studios stopped calling, and the man once known for discipline had become unpredictable. The final blow came when his film Double Team, 1997, co-starring NBA legend Dennis Rodman, flopped critically and commercially. The movie's failure marked the moment when Hollywood decided Jean-Claude Van Damme was done. The studios that once fought for him now turned their backs. His name stopped appearing on big screens, and he was forced to take direct-to-video films just to survive. But the damage went beyond Hollywood. Van Damme himself was spiraling. His cocaine addiction led to paranoia, mood swings, and depression so deep that he contemplated suicide. In 1999, doctors diagnosed him with rapid cycling bipolar disorder, a revelation that explained much of his erratic behavior. He began taking medication, quit drugs, and started rebuilding himself mentally and spiritually. But Hollywood had already moved on, replaced him with newer faces like Keanu Reeves, Vin Diesel, and Jason Statham. Jean-Claude tried to make a comeback in the 2000s with films like Replicant and In Hell, but audiences saw them as echoes of his past glory. Then in 2008, something remarkable happened. He starred as himself in JCVD, a meta-film where he played a washed-up actor confronting his failures and addiction. The performance was raw, emotional, and hauntingly real. Critics praised it, calling it the best work of his career. For the first time, the world saw not the fighter, but the broken man behind the legend. Yet, despite the praise, Hollywood never fully welcomed him back. The industry that once crowned him king had changed. Superhero films and CGI replaced the gritty, hand-to-hand combat that made him famous. Van Damme's era was gone. But through it all, he never stopped training, never stopped believing. He rebuilt his relationship with his children, especially his son Christopher, who became an actor and martial artist. He found peace through meditation, philosophy, and forgiveness, of himself most of all. He once said, "I was lost, but I needed to lose everything to find who I really am." Today, Jean-Claude Van Damme lives quietly between Belgium and Hong Kong, rarely appearing in major films, but often in indie projects and commercials that pay tribute to his legacy. His cult status remains strong. Generations still imitate his splits and admire his physique. But the truth is painful. His career ended not because Hollywood stopped loving him, but because Jean-Claude Van Damme stopped loving himself. The fame that once fed his confidence became the very thing that destroyed him. Cocaine, ego, broken relationships, and untreated mental illness turned the world's most disciplined fighter into his own worst enemy. When Street Fighter bombed, it wasn't just a bad movie. It was a mirror showing the cracks in the man behind the muscles. From Bloodsport to Breakdown, his story is one of rise, fall, and redemption. And perhaps, that's what makes him human. Because behind every legend, there's a price, and for Jean-Claude Van Damme, that price was everything he ever loved. He once told a reporter, "People think I lost my career. But maybe I just found my life." In the end, his story isn't about losing fame, it's about surviving it. And for a man who once fought his way out of the streets of Brussels to conquer Hollywood, survival itself might be the greatest victory of all.